Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be where you are. Welcome back to the live stream. My name is Jeff Fritz. Today is August 9th, 2019, and we're going to write a little bit of code today. How's it going there, chat room? I've got my D&D hat on today. I've been playing a little Magic the Gathering Arena while I've been trying to unwind and get my mind out of code and thinking about different projects and events that we have coming up here, and this is the closest hat I had to Magic the Gathering. So, how's it going there? Let me say hello to our friends in the chat room. Disco 1 2 3 4 5. It sounds like a combination for my luggage. Welcome, good to see you. Johan B, hello. Ancient Coder, McNerdius, HB Listown, hello to you too. Johan B joining from the customer's office. Hardly anybody there. Terrific. All right. Sean's here. Hey, good to see you. Namazri. Tim Van Monero. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Yeah, all right. Copper Beardy, hello. Coding Gorilla. Dev Null for Alt. Twitch is blocked at work. Yeah, but if you're like me, phones work too. Let's see. Entity Adam. I said hello to Ancient Coder. Yes. Can't view code on phone screen. Why is Twitch preferred over YouTube? Let me come back to that question. Johan Tagaron, finally not on late support shift. Oh my gosh. Welcome back, Tagaron. Great to see you. Codeman Codes. Stelzy. Oh my gosh. The Spaceballs reference indeed. It's strong. Yes, it's a magic hat. Hey, the Simeon, and is that Cezanti? Good morning, nice to meet you. Sacrilegious, that you've never played D&D. It's been almost 30 years since I've played D&D, so that's a thing. Rachmanian, it's 11 at night in Japan. Well, thanks so much for joining us. So the question that we got a little bit earlier from Dev Null for All, can't view code on the phone screen. Why is Twitch preferred over YouTube? Quite simple. YouTube has very much a moderation problem. The trolls on YouTube are extremely strong, and we have Godwin's Law on YouTube. It doesn't matter what you're presenting, what you're talking about. Within the first 5 minutes, somebody's going to complain about Jewish folks, Nazis. This happens on every video. It could be a smiling, giggling baby. It happens. That's Godwin's Law. It happens all the time on YouTube. You cannot avoid it. That's just something I don't want to deal with. Twitch has a much larger live viewing audience. Has the largest live viewing audience, and there's already a tremendous growing developer community here that we want to include, we want to welcome, and we want to encourage. Let's see here, haters over there. Yeah, Copperbeardy, you're right. Chris Jones, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Let me go get some music to code by running here, and we'll talk about our project today. Today let's play. This is Gold. You know what? I think we've played this one recently. No, let's switch. Let's play Green. There we go. This is music to code by from our friend, Mr. Carl Franklin. It's been scientifically designed. It's been engineered to get you in the flow, to get you focused on whatever task it is you might be working on. Whether it's writing code, doing homework, studying for a test, reading documentation. That's something that this has actually helped me with in the last week. Housework, yard work, whatever. It'll help get you focused. Tremendous stuff. Check it out, mtcb.pwop.com. Thanks, Ancient Coder, for firing the music command there in chat. You can click that link, and it's 19 songs, 20 songs you can get for $30-$40. Same cost as a CD or two. Thanks so much, Carl, for letting us listen to your music here on the channel. And let him know. If you let him know on Twitter if you enjoy the music. He is at Carl Franklin. All right. HB Listown says, hey, Mr. Jeffrey. Oh, good to see you, HB. Jeff Blankenberg is here. That's a fantastic hat today. You like the hat? The color's a little bit off. It'll on this web camera. I've been fighting this web camera and the coloring. The white balance just isn't quite right, and I still fight it. It'll look a lot better when we switch to the other camera over here. The Jeff Blankenberg is who that is. Mike Eaton is here, and that's all you need to know, because there is a throat punch list, and it will be enforced. Okay. What's a CD indeed? Am I hearing the same volume? Yeah, I am. I have a studio mixer here that I use. This is a Pro FX 8 from Mackie, and I've also got a gauge that I see over here on OBS where I can see exactly the volume levels. The volume for the music I try to keep around minus 35 decibels to minus 30 decibels. And that's right about where we are right now. When my voice comes on, I try to hit up to as high as minus 10 decibels. All right. So, Mixer and D Live. Oh my gosh, Stelzy's jumping right into the discussion. HR Book is here of Mixer and D Live. Let me reflect back over here. Johan B says, largest, is it still that Ninja guy went to Mixer? I wonder how big or small that impact was. So here's the thing. Let me show you something that you can find. This is some content. Let's have a little bit of discussion here about this real quick. The Streamlabs Q2 report. This is Q2 2019 report. Let's head over to our code setting here so I can show you. This is the Streamlabs Q2 live streaming industry report. This is a report issued every quarter. Streamlabs has a version of this. Stream Elements has a version of it as well. And they report on the volume that they see folks streaming on different platforms. Hours watched by platform in Q2 2019. It's not even close. 2.7 billion with a B hours on Twitch versus 119 million on Mixer, okay? It is less than 0.5% the viewership on Mixer. Okay? And that's just watching. Hours streamed by platform, 84 million hours streamed on Mixer, 12. 84 million on Twitch, 12 on Mixer. YouTube is in here at 13, okay? It's not even close right now. The audience is here on Twitch, okay? Certainly, Ninja went over to Mixer, and there's a lot of kids, there's a lot of folks that are going to go over with Ninja to Mixer because they just want to watch Ninja. And that's okay, that's great. That means that the folks on Mixer are going to see that number ramp up, and I can't go to Ninja's website, but he was in, last I saw, he was approaching 800,000, 900,000 followers on Mixer. He's still not at 14 million where he was at Twitch. So that's over just the quarter, Q2 2019. We'll see another one of these come out in about the next 2 months. So D Live isn't even on the radar, right? PewDiePie is over there and isn't even on the radar. So Twitch is still where to be. However, what this has done, and I think in a good way, let me scroll down. There was another bit here about the improvement. Twitch is tailing off a little bit in Q2. It's still 2.7 million. It's not as high as it was in Q1, but I think now we're starting to see the impact of not everybody sitting down watching Twitch all the time. They're actually going out and doing things, right? And the number of hours streamed is off as well. YouTube gaming is going up. You can scroll down here further. There's a thing. There it is. Mixer is taking off. Absolutely, Mixer is improving. But 357% over less than 0.5% isn't much. Diversity in these environments is a very good thing. And by diversity, I mean there's options for streamers, for folks that are viewing. This just means you have more places to go. For streamers, this means that we can keep the services a little bit more honest. I don't like to be critical of Twitch, but I do like to give feedback, and I feel like the features that Twitch has provided for the platform for streamers have slowed over the last 6 months. For another platform to come on and provide additional features that will caused Twitch to get back aggressive with developing features. That's a good thing. Competition is a very good thing. And it means that that industry leader now needs to be honest, needs to start getting back in there and start thinking about it. This is before the Ninja effect, and you can see the hours, millions of hours streamed on Mixer are going up. So this is a public report. Anybody can access this. This is on the Streamlabs blog. I will share that with you right there. Super Viking says, is this just another Azure versus AWS argument? Not at all. Azure and AWS don't play into this at all. This is strictly an entertainment services. It's not. Those cloud environments have nothing to do with this. They happen to be hosted on those, but they don't affect it at all. You love that I'm green screaming from a room in my house. Yes, I am. Absolutely. Right? Can you see? Look. Not only am I green screening here, Jeff, I've also got acoustic panels here. I've got key lighting, high def camera. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Studio mixer, a professional microphone. Yep. Codeman Code says, I like that even though Codeman likes that even though I work for Microsoft, I'm not blindly loyal to their offerings. We keep it real. Absolutely. We're gonna use the tools that work best so that we can have a good time, learn together, and connect with folks. Absolutely. Tim says, I streamed for 10 hours on Mixer programming, had 2 views. It's a little known fact, but I streamed for about 2-3 months, January to March, April 2018 on Mixer at the request of some of my colleagues. And I agree. The viewership on Mixer was not great. Point blank, programming, creative content is not a priority on that platform currently. It hasn't been for the year and a half that I've been monitoring and watching that platform. I watch that platform. I keep an eye on it. But it is not a priority. Gaming is very much a priority. Mixer's on the front page of the Xbox menu. Twitch is an amazing experience on Xbox. Twitch was on Roku. They've removed Twitch from Roku. Mixer, I think they tried to get on Roku and it's not there. But the point is, all of these are available everywhere. Thank you for the kind words, Johan. Oh, yes. Yes, I am green screening, and the background is being replaced with an image from your house. Yeah, right? If I took the green screen down, that's actually what's behind me. Yeah. Hey, lucky number 7. Good to see you. If you look at coding Twitch integration, you realize that Twitch doesn't have much experience in making it dev-friendly, says Stelzy. So Stelzy, I would suggest to you, because of my status here on Twitch, right? I get to say now, hey, look at who I am. I have worked with some of the developer evangelists, some of the folks at Twitch, and this is something that they feel, they understand they need to repair, they need to improve the developer experience for integrating with Twitch. They know there's a problem there. It's something that they're diligently working on, and I hope we hear a good story from them at TwitchCon about that. One just wonders how much Microsoft will keep putting Mixer in everybody's face. It's in Windows 10. You hit Windows G and you have the gamer panel set up, you can start streaming to Mixer immediately. The quality of content then on Mixer isn't great because it's not, you don't get the cool layouts, you don't get the green screen effects, you don't get some of the interactions that you do here on Twitch. On Mixer, they try and move that all to the platform. Spicy Condiment says, I heard that Mixer has some very low latency viewer input, so you can actually interact with the game the streamer is playing. Yes, Mixer has a feature called Faster Than Light, FTL. It's easy to do when you don't have too many viewers, but the goal there is they want to be able to share the controller with the audience and some other integrations as well. Absolutely. I do have low latency turned on here, so you should see about 3 seconds latency between when I say something and when something pops up in chat. Kind of like live share for games. Yeah, legendary move. Yeah. Tim says, Twitch needs the category programming. You know what? I'm going to go back to the full face so we can see chat. I'm not going to roll over to the just chatting category. Let's stay over here. Twitch needs a category for programming. I don't like being next to some wheat plants growing. We're also next to our chicken life right now in the science category. I agree with you. Can I advocate for us on Twitch? We had our own category. We had a programming category. During the great kerfuffle, I think that's what we'll call it, the great category kerfuffle of 2018, the creative category was removed, the programming category was removed, and these things were consolidated. There has been a lot of appealing to Twitch to try and reopen those things because they were a bit more descriptive of those discrete categories. The suggestion from Twitch is, if you want to find those things, search on the tag. So what I would suggest to you, Tim, is make sure you tag your streams as programming, so when people search on that tag, they find you. That being said, searching by tag, having an area that you can view on the homepage by tag, your preferred tags, would be a really great feature for Twitch to make that homepage more customized towards those things that I enjoy watching. I prefer these tags and these categories. Show me what's going on in those things. The carousel at the top with here are the big things Twitch wants to promote. Okay, that's great. It'd be nice, though, if there were some things that ended up in that carousel from those tags and categories that I enjoy. So, what do we got going on here? Did I miss something? And look, see, the lighting. Oh, the lighting. The catfuffle. It's a kerfuffle, absolutely. HR Book, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I saw the Twitch OBS announcement. Yes. So Twitch is trying to make it really easy with their own Twitch Studio. It's a Twitch version of OBS is what I'm hearing. That's available for folks to use and get started. Let me see. Let's keep reading down here. There's one Mixer channel where you can control robots to play football via the faster than light. Yeah. What is the penalty for low latency streaming on Twitch? There is no penalty. I'm doing it right now. You didn't even know it. You don't... Lannon says, I personally don't get people who don't like Mixer. It's a competitor. That doesn't mean we have to dislike it. I agree. You don't have to dislike it. You know what? The streaming platforms are going to compete. They're going to compete hard. And I look at them the same way that we look at cable networks. Whether it's YouTube Live, Mixer, or Twitch, these are good things. We have that competition. Let's have them get innovative. Let's encourage them to build cool new features that help us as viewers or as broadcasters deliver great content and talk to each other. And I'm really enjoying the conversation here. Yes, lucky number 7, Twitch has a homepage. All right, they do. They have a homepage. Okay? This is really annoying me over here, this green. I think... that's better. My green fill lights moved there a little bit. Somehow it feels if someone doesn't stream a certain game, it is very difficult to fit the stream in a proper category. Definitely. I definitely hear that. And the green... I didn't get it quite right. Don't watch a lot of gaming. Yeah, Mixer is heavy into gaming right now. The non-gaming categories on Mixer are few and far between. I don't think it's the next browser war, but I agree with Entity Atom. It's like Netflix versus Hulu. It's going to be very interesting over the next 18 months to see who among the other very large broadcasters on Twitch are lured over to Mixer, because it's going to happen. And if you see 2 or 3 more of them go over there, there's going to be some aggressive work here, I think, on both sides at that point. Okay. So, let me get back in. Let's talk about the code. Let's get into the project here. That was a great conversation. Thanks so much for starting that here. Hulu's going to crush Netflix with Disney Plus. Oh, there's a whole nother thing there. Do I know what language are used to build Mixer? I know it's not .NET because there is zero integration. There is zero SDKs, APIs natively for C# to integrate. C#, VB, F#, .NET Core to integrate with Mixer. You need to write your own. And we did that about a year ago. We wrote our own SDK for it. All right. Let's head it back over here. I want to talk about the resource management project and get into some of the things that we started talking about yesterday, and I kind of pushed off because I wanted to try and finish a task, and we kind of ran into a little bit of an issue there. There was a point that was brought up yesterday that some of the things that I've been doing with layout. Let me open the project here. I'm fighting with Bootstrap to get things to lay out properly, right? The Bootstrap CSS framework. And don't get me wrong, Bootstrap's really nice. You can do some neat things with it, but you end up putting these CSS classes on everything, and it gets to be a pain in the neck. So, there was a suggestion, and I think it was a good suggestion that came through. I can't remember if it was Ancient Coder or Copperbeardy. I can't remember who it was yesterday. Who said, you know what, let's just do this with css-grid. And I think we should spend some time here this morning taking a dive into css-grid and seeing how we can use that to improve a little bit of the layout of our availability data entry screen. It was an Ancient Coder. Okay. Copperbeardy asks, do we know the results of Fierce Kitten's poll about doing an a WPF stream? The results of the poll versus her decision, I think, are two different things. Let me take a quick peek here because I wanted to encourage that a little bit. And in fact, where'd it go? Some folks from the XAML Tools organization reached out. There were 133 people that voted. 80% said yes. So, that's pretty good. That's encouraging. Now, it's going to be up to Fierce Kittens if she wants to host that Get Started with WPF stream. She's quite a personality here on Twitch. I would absolutely, support her if she does that and encourage her with any resources that I can provide, hosting, promotion, because I think that those types of streams are very beneficial to our technical community. Was it Echo? It might have been. Yeah, you're right. It might have been Echo yesterday. Doesn't DevExpress have a Blazor grid component? I'm not talking about a grid per se, but using css-grid to do layout. Bootstrap gives you palpitations. Nice. Bootstrap comes easy, so I don't bother with css-grid when you can achieve what you need with Bootstrap. Absolutely. Yeah. There's definitely something to be said about choosing the tools that make sense for you and that fit the way that you think and work with things. Absolutely. Coding Gorilla asks, do you think Blazor is eventually going to supplant MVC, Razor, and Razor pages? That's a great question. I don't know because we don't have a full release yet. The framework is not fully available to everybody, so there are a lot of folks that are going to wait until that becomes fully available, and fully supported, and we'll see full support come with .NET Conf at the end of September 23, 24, 25. I'll be your host. And if we can get this number of followers right here to 8,000 before September 15th, I will dye my beard rainbow for .NET Conf and that Blazor announcement there, and it'll carry over into TwitchCon. Oh yeah. I think I can announce now. I see people announcing panels here. I think and the like. I think I can announce. Is this where I find... Oh no. Ladies and gentlemen, she's here to make it better. It's Fierce Kittens. Good Good to see you. We were just had some folks asking about your idea to do a WPF stream and talk about it. There go the tacos. I think I could share that most of my panels were declined from TwitchCon. But I have been asked to host a Get Started Developing and Integrating with Twitch Services workshop. As part of TwitchCon, I'll be hosting that workshop. I have a couple folks that I'm recruiting to join me as proctors to help assist in presenting.
What mischief?
It read it! Oh my gosh, it actually read it this time! Thank you for joining us, Fava. Great to see you. There's one of the people that I'm inviting to join me. I was trying to protect that in case you wanted to say no. But we'll talk about that. If you are one of my first two choices, yes. So I'm working on, whoopsie doodle do indeed. So that's going to be going on, and I can also share with you.
Yo ho, Dark Helmet, congrats on the session.
Thank you very much for that cheer, Carrie. Yes. It's not a session, it's a workshop. We're actually going to do hands-on coding there at TwitchCon. Now, I can also tell you that I have been asked to host a panel. And I will be hosting a panel talking about Code Party and how we're doing outreach to developer communities with a little bit of a game show and a bit of a talk show. So I will be hosting a panel on that as well. Really looking forward to TwitchCon. And for folks on the Live Coders team, I've got a whole bunch of goodies for you at the event as a thank you for being a part of our team, for being a part of our community. So I've frozen membership for right now. I don't want to add more folks to the team because I need to maintain a budget here, friends. So that's coming up as well. There's the Live Coders team. Thanks so much for sharing that, Ancient Coder. If you click the Live Coders link just below us here, Ed, you know what? I'm going to do a little YouTube editing here. I'm going to put the link right next to me right here when the YouTube recording comes out. See it right there? If you're watching this on YouTube, you see this. If you're watching this on Twitch live right now, you're saying, what the hell is Jeff pointing at? There's nothing there. There's going to be a thing here when I edit and put this out to YouTube, okay? And it's going to give you the URL to go to the Live Coders team. If you don't see it right here, if you want to just click a link, it's in the description below here on YouTube. But I'm not on YouTube. I'm on Twitch right now. Haha! Look at that. It's the magic of time shifting and a camera recording everything. And that wasn't confusing at all, was it?
Do it!
Okay, let's get back to it. How many of these ideas presented at TwitchCon can be stolen by those of us attempting to start a channel? All of them, Binary Chef. All of them. That's why I'm sharing them at TwitchCon. That's why I share them on my blog. Everything that I share there, you're more than welcome to borrow and use. I've seen a number of folks that are using my layout here with the two bars. You're more than welcome to use that layout. But there can be only one C# Fritz. It's me, okay? So let me get into this. Let's talk about this. Oh no, look at that. You're right. I've got a problem. I can't use a camera. Fierce Kittens has copy trade right marked it. So I'm gonna have to turn off the camera now, or it's gonna be a problem. Excuse me while I turn off the camera here, because Fierce Kittens said so, and I'm gonna instead put up a puppet of me with my mouth. No. You are terrible. You are a terrible, terrible friend there, Fierce Kittens. I tell you. And absolutely, you know what, Binary Chef? I want to encourage everybody to join us here on Twitch. The more folks that attempt to stream, that find their way, and we bring more of our friends in, it's a rising tide. It's gonna lift all boats. So when I talk about recruiting additional broadcasters, what I'm actually looking for is...
I want rustlers. Cutthroats, murderers, bounty hunters, desperados, mugs, pugs, thugs, nitwits, halfwits, dimwits, vipers, snipers, con men, agents, bandits, muggers, buggerers, bushwhackers, hornswagglers, horse thieves, train robbers, bank robbers, diggers, and Methodists.
Methodists? Sure. Yes, that clip was slightly censored because we do want to be family friendly here. It's a constructive reassignment, not borrowing. There you go. I'm a master shadow puppeter. Oh, Carrie. I know. Okay, so Carrie and I spoke at an event in Vermont several years ago, and I'm in a dark room pointing at the screen and explaining things because I'm very expressive with my hands. And there's a picture of me making bunny rabbit shadow effects in front of the screen that she likes to share on social media as a fun meme. All right, let's get into this. I need to pay Kitten's royalties for using a camera now.
You're amazing. You figured this all out already.
See, Hans Gruber is completely agreeing with you, okay? What do you say we actually talk about writing some code here? Okay? Can we get back into the code? Can we get into the project? Let's see. So, we're in our resource management project here. This is an application that we're working on that's going to help folks at Sebastian Riding Associates. That's a nonprofit organization that helps folks with a little equine therapy. They have whatever challenges in their daily lives, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, helps them get out of that mindset, get a little equine therapy, experience some horsemanship, focus on being with the animal and having a good time. And it works for a lot of people. It really helps them, and it changes their life. So we're going to support them. We're helping to build a scheduling application there, and it's taken a really long time. We need to get this thing done, okay, friends? We'll take pull requests here. If you submit a pull request, we'll get your name up on the crawl up at the top there. And we're working through this. We're building this availability screen so folks can log their availability. And it was suggested that we use css-grid, and this website about css-grid was shared with us. Do we have a second for the motion to unsquirrel? What? Flav Creations, good to see you. For some reason, when I said equine therapy, I thought the therapy was for horses. Says Binary Chef. No. It's, come on now.
Throw me a frickin' bone here.
No, it's to let people spend some time, learn about horsemanship, let their inner cowboy out, or cowgirl, as the case may be, or cow, whatever gender you aspire to be. No judgment. But let that out and enjoy spending some time with some horsemanship. Now, why didn't that alert go off? We should have heard the horses whinny there. Why didn't we get that? Why didn't we get... The bot's not behaving too well here today. What happened? I did that one. It's taking its good old time behaving. All right. Spicy Condiment says, all folks need to spend some quality times with their horses. Yes. Yes, indeed. So we're going to talk about CSS-grid here a little bit. So Sarah Drasner put together this CSS-grid generator that we've used once or twice here that helps to set up and lay out a grid. And we can use this to help identify and lay out the fields that we're putting together on our page for keying in the things for your availability entry, right? So you can do things like this and lay out, well, here's exactly how I want it to be. And you can still force things to an appropriate size over here on the right. Right? Now, that's not bad, right? So forcing 100 pixels and different sizes for these things, that's pretty good. We can do that. Can I share that page, please? Absolutely, Ancient Coder. Thanks for reminding me. There you go. So css-grid is a way for us to move these layout concerns that specify exactly how we want things to appear on the page. We move them out into a CSS sheet, right? That's what it's called. It's a file. In my case, it's called site.css. We put all those layout things over there so that we can actually put, right, all of our divs, right? Our divs are our containers in HTML that define the things we want to place on the page. And we'll use CSS then to position them appropriately. And CSS-grid lets us maintain a nice tidy grid like this. So I think we're going to go over to Sarah's page here. That's not where I wanted to go. I clicked the CSS-grid, right? CSS-grid generator. It didn't actually go there. Right? This went over here to this, and it didn't actually... No, I don't want this. Thank you for the follow, Virtual Ninja. Appreciate you joining us, and I look forward to seeing you in the chat room. This isn't actually going to the CSS-grid generator when I click that link. And it generates some nice markup here for us. And we'll look at that in just a second, and we'll do the layout. No, I don't see... hosted on Netlify. This is the GitHub. There it is. That was weird. Yeah, thank you, Rising Phoenix, for sharing the link. And Tim Blazor, thank you for sharing those. Now, we're mixing CSS-grid with Blazor, so this feels like getting your peanut butter in chocolate and chocolate in the peanut butter, right? We're mixing a C#, a .NET generated layout and management with CSS. Stick with me, it's pretty good. It's pretty good here. All right, let's start the application back up. Where is Visual Studio? There it is, way down here. So I have this availability page. There it is. That right now I have an edit form in the middle of, and there's another bit here for doing your recurrence data entry. And this, right, is a little bit of a mess here. It doesn't line up quite right, and we want to have, and actually, in the recurrence data entry component, these are components, right? You see, and because it's in this darker turquoise here, it's giving me a hint that this is built with C#. It's not a standard HTML thing. The light sky blue tags here, and I'm sure that's a little bit harder for folks to see that are red-green colorblind. But you can tell that they're bold, so they're a little bit different. So these ones, of course, are standard HTML tags. So you have your choice of bouncing back and forth between these. When I look at my web client project where these live, right, this is a project that gets compiled to DLLs and shipped to the browser to be run on top of the Mono runtime. And that's a .NET runtime that's been around for more than 10-15 years, originally written by our friend Miguel Diacaza. And that has been recompiled to run specially on top of WebAssembly, and WebAssembly is a standard technology available in every browser. So this recurrence data entry is right here. It's another component that we're composing together as part of building this layout. So Ancient Coder asks, CSS-grid versus Flex. Do a mix. Oh dear Lord. I don't want to do a mix. I want to choose one technology and stick to it so that I'm not floundering around here and flopping like a fish on a dock. I want to get in and choose a technology and stick to it, you know? You've done mixed, and in some cases it works well. There are purists which say don't or try not to, but it's whatever works for you and your site, says Lucky Number 7. Yeah, let's try and stick with just CSS-grid. Now, this project has all these components, and it has some C# files in here that get compiled into a DLL. But it also has a www root folder here that contains the contains the static content that we're bringing along that we're going to show in the browser. And as I'm doing this, I'm thinking of how our friend Fierce Kittens has that JavaScript browser-based screen that she captures for GIFbot. And I wonder if, because I know that JavaScript isn't a language that she prefers, but C# is. I wonder if WebAssembly being delivered and hosted by GIFbot inside of her custom web server would work out well. It is not the devil. JavaScript is a fine programming language. In fact,
It's alive!
it is. It's alive. But I know that what Fierce Kittens wants to do is
Boom goes the dynamite.
just get rid of it. Boom goes the dynamite. Because
Wait, master. It might be dangerous.
it's a little dangerous. Okay. Panic, says Copperbeardy with the Imperial Girl emote. There it goes. Imperial emote. So what I'm looking at here is I think I can use css-grid instead of having label input, right? And I'm using the Bootstrap classes here to line these up, right? Thank you for the follow. Is that for the win? Nice. DevXer, I'm doing just fine. Thanks so much for joining us. Great to see you. And I really like, there goes, right? There's this everything's fine emote that Kittens has now that just went flying by. Right? This is available to subscribers on her channel. Yeah, there it goes. There. It's fine. So I think I can, right, instead of having this class, that's a Bootstrap class, right? This says in Bootstrap, this label should appear in a column that's small, intended for mobile phone size, that's 4 columns wide of 12 in the layout. And this one should appear in a small column that's 8 wide. Okay. So let me show you what the layout looks like. And then I want to ask for your help, chat room, to see what we can do to improve this layout. Let's tidy it up a bit. We'll bring in the CSS grid appropriately, and then we'll get back into making sure our data loads properly. But the appearance here has been irking me, and I feel like we're fighting it. So I want to bring in the CSS grid, put it into our CSS files. And we'll see, isn't that cool? It says and then, and the and then emote goes flying by all at the same time. We'll have a much better layout here. So right now I have, these are kind of, these are 2 separate things here, and I'd like them to appear almost stacked. When you schedule appointments, you have this type of layout. When you're scheduling creating a recurring appointment, right? This is that I have bowling league on Wednesday night type of appointment. You schedule it like this, and you specify your recurrence pattern. So these are 2 different things here that I think should appear separately. Oh, and there's 6 different and thens there. You think this channel does not have the Fairy's Devil bit shout, as it may have gone off there. Yeah, no, we're not going to have the scare cheer bits here. No. So I think when I look at this, hey, Shane Boyer, tabs might be a good approach here for setting my availability, and then maybe have a list of the various availability entries below with your full schedule visible over here, so you can see on a given date what your availability is, and then those, I said and then again.
And then?
Those hours blocked off appropriately here on the bottom. That might be cool. I like the idea of tabs. They're mutually exclusive data entry. You're going to choose one of these, and yeah, maybe they should appear separately as tabs. And we can set up and we can use tabs with Blazor and indicate show and hide things appropriately based on which tab is clicked. That's not bad. That's not a bad idea at all. What do you think, chat room? Do you like the idea of tabs? Can I get a 1 in the chat room if you like tabs? To split these up as 2 separate tabs that you have to click back and forth between? Let me know. Let me know there. Sean likes it. Okay. Tim likes it. Okay. I need to have like a poll that I can run quickly and be like, hey, should we go this way or not? Would allow for controls for each and open up some white space. Yeah, I'm not handling the white space well here at all, right? All right. So let's set the availability for this. Should fill in your name here, but I'm not logging names properly yet. Okay, so let's see if we can set this up as 2 separate tabs and allow you to key those in. That white text on the white background. I need to put a shadow on that so you can see it. Thank you for the following. Is that Shemiroth? Welcome. Streamlabs OBS has built-in polls if we use it. No, I don't use it. I use the standard vanilla OBS. So let's do this. All right. Let's set this up as a pair of tabs so that you can choose between schedule, create a new schedule appointment, create a recurring schedule, and we'll have a list down here at the bottom of all of your schedule items and recurrent schedules at the bottom so you can click through it. Do we want to wrap the page in a div container? Oh, it's divs all the way down. Copperbeardy was thinking a little menu type thing for different schedule options, and then you click the type of schedule and the relevant control opens up to the right. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're saying maybe down here we have create a recurring schedule an appointment, schedule a recurring event, and when you choose one of those, on this side the appropriate schedule appears, and we still have our list down here at the bottom. That's not too bad either. It still ends up with almost like side tabs instead of tabs across the top. Tabs across the top.
A nutless monkey can do your job.
Len Grossman, my producer. Sorry about that. So, all right, let's do that. I'm going to put the 2 buttons down the side. This is already wrapped in a div, and we can start to do that little bit of layout. So I'm going to go back to the availability control here. Set the availability for, and I want to have your name appear there. Can I say user dot? No. I have a user object, don't I? Right. At model dot current user dot current user is it's an object. What? Show me the references to that. One reference. Where is it? Oh. Tartar sauce. Well, I've got claims principal available. Yeah. I could fetch it and put it there. If I just make this public, I can access it. So I can go... And that feels a little bit dirty there, but... if I say identity, name, now it'll put your name there. Okay, good. So this is already wrapped in a div, so I can already do a little bit with that, right? It's already wrapped in Bootstrap's container class. Yes. Yes. We need to consider mobile views for sure. And actually, that was something that was brought up to me by some of the folks at Sebastian's. Is they need to be able to use this application on their phone while they're in and working in the barn, while they're working in the horse arena, these places where they're not sitting in front of a PC. So that's definitely a thing we need to consider. So all right, look at this. I've got div and div and div, and that's weird. I have availability, and then my schedule is to the side as a separate column, right? I feel like we've already got a little a little grid issue here we need to deal with just in getting this layout. You're going to lurk and read, taking a few Microsoft certifications in the next few weeks. Oh, best of luck to you, DevExer. Let us know how you do. I'll have to add some ARIA attributes to announce the changes to screen readers. You're right. You're right, EcoMath. We will. Mr. HD Penguin, is this a paid project? No. This is a non-profit. I am donating my time working on this here. Words are hard. You're right, EcoMath. Would they be using mobile or a tablet when not in the office? Right now, I would say it's a phone they're using. And the Fritzbot, that is a really wrong answer. Yes, I use a Dell Precision Tower when I'm here. Let's see here. So I feel like this is our first piece where we need to start thinking about that layout, and we need to consider the CSS grid. So how do I want to draw? You know what? Let's do this. Let's start Excel. No, let's not use Excel. I was going to say let's use Excel so we can draw what this is going to look like. But I think I can go over to that CSS grid generator and let's talk this through. There's some sort of a header that's going to go across the top that's going to say availability schedule for so and so, right? And if we do like that other thing suggested, we have it about 100 pixels. And if we have then down the side over here, right? This thing that's currently no, get rid of those. It's named div2, but if we have the availability, right, the calendar, and here's the day, so you can see what those are. We would still have, right, some sort of thing over here to allow you to choose the different availability schedules, which means then, hello? Why won't it? There we go. We have this area in the middle for where you actually define your availability. And we put a list down at the bottom of here's all of your current schedule in data form down there. Yes, EcoMath. You missed it earlier. We mentioned, the article you suggested over here from Dan Vega. We shared that link, and we're over here taking a look at the CSS grid generator that was built with tacos. Oh, yes. Tacos. So I think if we use this type of layout, and I think the middle here, right? I think we don't need all of these columns going across the middle. I think we only really need 2 going across. Can I make this 0? Hey, cool. All right. We should have a little bit of a column gap, don't you think? Right? Just to give it a little bit of breathing room. You know what I mean? I think that works. Love the tacos. Absolutely. So if we start with that high-level layout, and when we go to work on the actual availability controls, those are going to appear in here. Let's make each one of those a control and have them with their own grid definition as to what's going on inside those things. I also think we can get away with just 2 rows there. I think that'll work. I think that works. Please, may I have some code, sir? Ah, there we go. Okay. Hey, look at that. My auto tweet just went out. Sorry about that, chat room. Right? Everything's good over there? Yeah, we're good. All right. So I'm going to copy this out, right? Go back over to Visual Studio. Right, I can close Excel. I don't need that. Visual Studio. Visual Studio. The IDE for really big applications to be developed. So I've got a... Alright, I'm okay with that stuff, I guess. Right, I'm going to put a thing down here for... Actually, wait a sec. Hold on a tick. I've already got the schedule here. Right, and this is what's controlling the grid over on the right and the day view. Now I'll put it at the bottom of the site. Availability data entry. And at some point we'll want to run Webpack or something like that against this to compress the CSS down and make it a little bit smaller for shipping around. Right? Minify it, all that good stuff. That's not legit CSS with that nested, is it? Right. That's like less and Sass that do that. We can't nest it. Yeah, that's Sass. Right. Yeah. I could put it together as a lesser Sass sheet and edit that way. Let's just stick with this for right now. So I'm going to call the top level the availability data entry. And even then, I could probably make that, right, make that an ID. Right, so here, no, that's the model. I don't go away. Here, this one, right? Instead of having div class row up top and this, right, I can just put an ID on this. Did you see that? Visual Studio knew what IDs were available to me. Look at that. Hang on. Right? It knows the IDs that are available from the CSS sheet that this is included in. That's pretty cool. Oh my gosh, I didn't know it would do that for the Blazor templates. All right. I'm starting to get a little impressed with some of the Blazor tooling now. I've been a little critical of it, and I know they're working on it, and they're pushing towards that September launch, but that was pretty cool that it interpreted and went all the way down through it. Now, that wasn't machine learning. That was just it interpreted, and it's got a complete state of what's being referenced in memory. You're a big fan of purge CSS to delete unused CSS. I'm not familiar with that. Can you do me a favor, Ecometh? Can you drop an entry in the issues for this project on GitHub with a link there so we can consider that and add that into the project? That sounds like a good thing for us to consider. I'd like to investigate that. Okay, so availability data entry up at the top. So that's this div. Okay. So looking at the map, my schedule is this div 2 over here. That's where, right, this is going to appear. So dot div 2 here, right? Go back. This is called my schedule. So I can make that my schedule, right? And that'll take care of this, and I can remove that. Okay. The bit that I want to go across the top here, this. Excuse me. Let's move that up, and I'm going to wrap that in a div. And I can make this an ID, right? Let's call this availability head. Make that an ID like that. So now I can, right, if I delete these, look at that. And hang on, wait a sec. Did you notice what I noticed there? Look at this, ID equals. Availability data entry isn't in there because it's already assigned to something. Right? Like, that's pretty impressive. If I delete both of these, and I control dot, now they're both available. So it knows the ID's been assigned and not to allow you to put the same ID twice in the same page. That's pretty cool. That makes sense. Admiral Kier is asking, is it preview 6 or 5? This is a good question. Thank you for asking. This is 16.3 preview 1, and I'm using ASP.NET Core preview 7. So that's pretty cool. For those of you that aren't aware, let me make sure I step back slightly. Let me just take a slight step back there and explain. CSS allows you to assign styles to things, and you have selectors that allow you to select the various pieces of your HTML. And typically you select by either using tags, IDs, or classes. So, right, here's an ID. This is uniquely identifying this div inside of my HTML page. Well, it needs to uniquely identify it. This is Visual Studio assisting us by saying you can only have this ID here once. What happens if I make it data entry there? Do I get an underline? Does it? No, it does let me do that twice in the same page. It would be neat if I got a little green underline there, right? A green thing that says, oh, you're using this twice on the same page. You might want to reconsider. But it's nice that the IntelliSense, that dropdown, is suggesting these are the unique things that you can still use on this page. Classes can be used many times within the same page, and you can list the same multiple classes in a class attribute here on an HTML element. And if you really want to go custom, you can actually put the inline on that element, the styles you want to apply. You can either put it here, or you can put it out in a CSS file that's referenced. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to put as much as possible in that CSS file so that our HTML that we're rendering is smaller, and we can change the layout of our HTML by just changing our CSS file, and all of our layout concerns are over there. Then we can focus our HTML more on our content and making it more accessible. Let the CSS paint things appropriately depending on what browser you're using, what size the browser is, these types of concerns. So I've called this availability head. Let me just make sure. Okay, I have that laid out right. So grid schedule. Oh no. Wait, grid schedule. Okay, is div 2 over here. Div 3 is this new one where we're going to put those that horizontal set of tabs that Shane was suggesting, and some of the other folks in chat were also clicking into and thinking was a good idea. But div 4 is where the main availability data entry is. Div 4. I'm going to call this availability center? Center? Availability center. Like that? Oops. So that's what I have right now. I'm going to get rid of this one. Well, maybe no, you know what? I do need that one. Let's get rid of that. Do this here, and we can get rid of that as well. So we're going to have these two child data entries here, right? And each one is going to be is going to appear differently based on whether or not it's clicked on something new that we're going to put over on. All right, let me. Hey. In this div 3. So div 3, let's call this availability tab bar. Right? There are rats. There we go. So let's put that here. Div class equals that. And we'll give you a way to navigate back and forth between those two components right here. Yes, Admiral Kier, I am using, this is ASP.NET Core Preview 7. There's a question, should we develop .NET Core Preview 7 or should we wait for the stable version? This is release candidate. We shouldn't see significant changes to the APIs at this point. We're seeing significant bug fixes come through, so that we can make sure that folks are up and running. And there are some bugs in there. There's a good number of bugs in there that they are working through, and they're working hard on so they can get to a stable release for the end of September. So we're about 7 weeks out from from the final delivery there. Folks are back and forth on vacation because it's summer here in the States, but we're going to see performance improvements and bug fixes ramp up over the next few weeks. ID selectors are harder to override, which is usually a case for not using them. No, you can always... difficult to override is a whole different discussion. In terms of developing on it, I believe, yes, this has go live support. If you start developing with it, folks at Microsoft will support you if you're using server side and ASP.NET Core 3. Client side is very much still in preview. Client side Blazor, which we're using, is very much in preview. Okay. So we're going to have two nav links here, right? I don't know exactly. Well, I'm going to have an href inside of an href. That's going to be weird. You know? I don't think I can. Oops. Sorry. I don't think I can do that strictly as a nav link. But I'd really like it as a nav link. Links to select one of the data entry methods. Right, that'll appear in there. So we have the availability in the center, and these are actually already wrapped in a div, each one of them. I've got another div out here. I'm over divved on this, right? So if I move that back, so they're both inside of the same form. So instead of making this style inline block class form group, I think I still need to make a class form group. But, right, this is, I almost want to say ID schedule item. And this one, I'm going to get rid of this. ID equals, and we'll make this recurring schedule. Like that. So now they're broken up a little bit, right? So that's the center. Okay, that's the right, my schedule. Okay. And then finally, oh, I end. This will be the bottom. This will be the schedule list. Okay. Thank you for the follow, Matt Pat M. Thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. And that helps us towards our follower goal here. And I look forward to seeing you in the chat room, Matt Pat. Yay! All right, welcome, Matt. It's good to meet you. The Bandit Dave. Hello. DB Context User. There's somebody who likes Entity Framework. Welcome. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's great to meet our followers here. I appreciate you tuning in. All right. S&B, hello. Good to see you. So I'll have the schedule list down here, and right, we'll do something. I didn't want to click that. I have my caps lock key on my keyboard set to not activate caps lock because I never use caps lock, but instead to open my terminal window. So when I inadvertently hit caps lock, it opens the terminal window. RX1, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us here, and I look forward to seeing all of our new followers in the chat room. Really appreciate it. So we'll output the schedule list for this user in a grid here. And maybe we'll look at using some of the grids that, some of the free community available grids that some of the component vendors are making available. Maybe it makes sense to start exploring them at this point. Okay. So I don't think I can use navlink here because it will refresh the entire page. But I think I do want to show some sort of a... right, I do want links, and we can make them appear as tabs with a little styling, little image background on them, to appear here. Bootstrap pills, maybe. Oh, Caparino, that's a great idea. Caparino with the win. That's a great idea. My coins aren't being handed out as quickly as they used to. Hey, Rambling Geek. Good to see you. Okay, so if I want to use the Bootstrap pills, right? So if because we do have Bootstrap available here. Getbootstrap.com. There it is. Examples? No. Documentation, components, right? And we want little nav pills, right? I like the idea of the little nav. Oh, there we go. Tabs, like that. That's exactly what I want. Right? Active, link, disabled, yeah. And it'll be nav pills like that. I like the tabs one better. I don't need drop downs, but I need to make them not horizontal across the top, but yeah, vertical. Can I have vertical tabs? Is there vertical tabs? Well that's not right. The tabs plugin also works with pills. Yeah. So glad it's Friday. Indeed, it is Friday. So, and I gotta tell you, friends, I've been getting a little uptight about my weight here over the last little bit. And I spent some time last night, and this is something I've got to get back on. I promised at the beginning of the year I was going to work on this, and I slacked over the last 2-3 months, more than that. I've changed up my diet a little bit here, and just to cut out sweets, cut out things that are completely just binging when I shouldn't be. And I've gotten back on my elliptical machine here at home, so I can start to lose a little bit of weight. We'll see how we are next week. So, but it's something I'm keeping an eye on. I've got to get on this. I want to make sure that Blazor jacket still fits when we get to TwitchCon. Know what I mean? You're going to be able to find me at TwitchCon when you find that sequin jacket. You know. I think I can use flex column to make it vertical. I don't need a fade effect. Oh, this is jQuery here. I don't need methods. Yeah, tab JavaScript plugin. I don't want to use that. No. Stack it with the flex column utility. Need to stack them on some viewports but not others. Use the responsive versions. Yes, there we go. So that's how we'll stack them right there, just like that. Fantastic. It's like we planned it this way. President Not Sure lost 15 pounds primarily through diet. Yes, right? Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the encouraging words. It's no secret. I'm very public about it. I have celiac disease. I cannot consume gluten. So that typically means wheat, barley, rye, or things that get cross-contaminated with those. When you buy things that are labeled gluten-free, they load it up with sugar to compensate for the taste. So I actively try to avoid things that are labeled gluten-free. Oh, it's gluten-free bread. It might as well be angel food cake with the amount of sugar that's in those things. So, I try to avoid those and try and stay with all natural things that are gluten-free. And it's almost a little bit of a keto diet, almost. Except I'm not focused on all the fats. So, that's a thing that I'm definitely trying to keep an eye on. So I'm going to borrow a little bit of markup there. Let's see if we can do something like this. So we've got nav items. Hey, there went some tacos. Tacos are good too, right? Tacos are amazing for folks that are going for a gluten-free, low-gluten diet. And it's tacos with corn shells. You can get corn-based wraps that you can use with that, and that works fantastic. But if you go to a Qdoba, yeah, he loves that place. If you go to a Qdoba, a Chipotle, even Taco Bell, you can do pretty good with that. Getting crunchy tacos, you're pretty safe. Taco Bell puts some flour into some of their meat that you purchase there. But if you get chicken at Taco Bell in a pinch, in a crunchy shell, you're gluten-free at that point. But the beef mix they have there doesn't work. Chipotle, Qdoba do amazing things there. It's really great stuff. So, tacos are really good. Asian foods are usually pretty good with that. I've had problems with Indian food being fried and cross-contaminated with flour. So we're going to have an anchor here that you're going to click to make things active. I don't want it to actually navigate anywhere, but I'm going to wire up an on-click event there to show and hide appropriately what's inside my availability data entry here. Yeah, I think that's good. Do I use EpiPens? So for folks that have celiac, there is no concern around around seizures. It's just pain that you run into. So that's not really a problem. Spicy Condiment says, just eat broccoli and chicken. You'll be veiny and ripped in a month. You aren't kidding. Latte Mote is here. Latte Mote, great to see you. We're all Stream Elements here. Look at the Stream Elements running all over the place. I'm a fan right now of Stream Elements. I've been using their services to put together the layout and things that you see here. The control you see below me here, that's Stream Elements. The little widget right here, it's over here in the corner. That's a Stream Elements deal. The sentiment analysis in the middle. That's ours. We wrote that. The crawl at the top is ours. The labels are not. Those are Stream Elements. Big fan of the work they do there. The only challenge that I have with Stream Elements is a little bit of lag in rendering some of the HTML. So what I do is I go through in OBS and I pre-render all of my scenes before I start, so that I'm sure I have all my HTML cached in OBS before we get started. But Stream Elements has been a great service for us here over the last few months. So, wow. Raven the Insatiable. Thanks for joining us, Raven. Great to see you. And I look forward to seeing you in the chat room, Raven. Keep pushing this number across. So I'm going to have these two links. We're going to have schedule. How do we make a single, right? A single event. Recurring schedule? Recurring events. Yeah, let's make it like that. And I'm going to remove the href on these because I don't want you actually going anywhere. And the active will decide whether or not to add based on some sort of a state that we're going to capture. And the click back and forth to activate these, we can do now with C# and pass that back and forth. Hey there, Raven the Insatiable. Welcome. This is a magical place. Everybody's welcome. We're positive. We're uplifting. Everybody says that about their Twitch channels. I want to find some place that says we hate people, we're mean, we're nasty, nobody's allowed in our channel, and I hope you watch it all the time. I can't imagine that goes over well with people. You know what I mean? Right? Right? So. Oh my gosh. Spicy Condiments.
Spicy Condiment just resubscribed for 4 months.
Thanks so much for the resub. As we do with every sub, every cheer, we're going to make a donation to Coder Dojo, as we are for all of those here this quarter. Coder Dojo is building facilities. They're training trainers so that folks everywhere in the world can learn how to advance their technology career. Find a technology career. Thanks so much. We want to support their efforts, and we'll make another donation. Thank you very much for that cheer, for that sub. I've still got to record our cheer here. I'm going to put together some sort of a status behind this in that availability view model. And this is that class that kind of goes along with our page. Some C# code that's maintaining all the state information about the page. And I think I want to put some sort of a enum in here, an enumerable type, right? That says which tab is available, right? So let's just call this tabs. And we've got 2 tabs, right? We've got single appointment. Let's just call it single, right? Recurring, and at some point we've got to do our schedule exceptions. That's not a problem yet, but we're going to have to build that at some point. So we're also going to need a property, and I'm going to do a little type there. Tabs, and this will be the selected tab. And I think by default, we'll make that the single entry. So now, if I'm doing this right, and nothing says I am, I can come back over here, and instead of having active right here, I'm going to cut that, right? You can see my hotkeys that I'm using up here in the top left of the screen. I'm going to put a little if statement, right? And I'm going to have it execute in C# code. So we prefix it with a little @ sign. So we tell Blazor, right, and the template engine here to evaluate this as C# code, not as HTML. So I'm going to say model dot selected tab equals tabs dot single. Then it will be active. Right? Otherwise, we're not going to output anything. And I can turn this into a using statement here. Let's do that. Right? By putting a using statement up here, it's going to allow me to shortcut some of... Let's move that down one. Right? Can only be applied to... Oh, all right, fine. Which means I can get rid of that. Right? There we go. So now I can turn this into availability view model dot... You know what? I can even simplify that, can't I? Can I alias this? Equals view models dot... Can I do that? Maybe I can. So then I can make this just VM. Oh my gosh, I think that works. I'm gonna reflect back over here to the chat room real quick. You love the vibe, you love the tone of the channel, Raven. Well, thank you. Welcome. We're always welcoming new folks to join us here. Let's see here. Duke Twitch asks, am I using SignalR or the logic is running on the client? The logic's running on the client. I'm not using any SignalR yet. There may be a point where we need it, but it's making requests to the server whenever we need it, so I'm not using SignalR. And Duke Twitch is referring to SignalR, the live interaction, the push technology that you can use that's made by the .NET team so that you can, in ASP.NET, push content to clients. Hyper asks, do I use structs and interfaces? Yes, I do. There isn't a need for one here just yet, but we'll definitely be using structs and interfaces as we go through the project. Bandit Dave shares, oh my gosh. With respect, I'm not going to share that. Talking a little bit about Bandit Dave's family and their eating constraints. Definitely, there's something to be said about families that have eating constraints and how it alters your diet. It becomes a challenge as a family. Have I considered trying spicy condiments? Spicy condiment. Maybe you can help me out. Do we have any friends here? We do. Our good friend Imperial. You know Imperial. She's at Imperial here on Twitch. She's Imperial Girl. No I, 2 R's. on Twitter, has agreed to do a Hot Ones style squad stream with me. And we have to schedule it yet, but we're gonna load up on different spiced chicken wings, just like they do on the show. But to make things a little bit simpler, I think we're just going to go to the local Buffalo Wild Wings and get the same set of wings. And we're gonna do a spicy interview stream together here. We need to schedule that, but it's going to be tremendous. And every now and again, I push her on that, and it's going to be a lot of fun when we do that. Hey, Michael Jolly, good to see you. I'm going to make some emails here later this afternoon to Michael Jolly. I got to contact Carrie and to Robert Tables, and we're going to start setting up those streams that I owe you. That's going to be really good. All right. So this should appropriately put active into this block. I'm going to copy and put this exact same status right there, but where this is recurring. Okay. So that should make that navigation element here on the side, right? But whether it shows these items here, well, that's a different story. We need to actually hide those things. So I could put a style here, right? Right, I could say style equals at, too many parentheses there, model selected tab equals VM tabs. This is the single appointment. And well, if it does not equal it, right, we're going to say display none, otherwise empty string. And we're going to do the exact same thing, right? And I could wrap that up in a class, right? I could. And this is recurring. Carrie!
Did someone say bits?
Oh my goodness. We're gonna. I need to drop in. I need to drop in your cheers. Absolutely. So, right, I'm gonna put it right here with the tabs. That is 3, 4. Why? Okay. There we go. Thanks so much for the cheer. Really appreciate that. White barbecue sauce, mayonnaise based rather than tomato. I have to try that. That sounds good. Okay. So if I go back to my availability, that should make those two appear and disappear depending on when I click one of these. Actually, wait a sec. I need to put an on click on these, don't I? Okay. At on click. It'd be nice if there was just a single click handler here, right? Right. Click tab, and if we tell it, right, tabs.single, right? VM tabs.single, right? If we tell it something, oh, I need to say model dot. That should work, I think. Do I have all my quotes and tabs? I think so. Let me create this method in the model. I'm going to put it somewhere down here near the bottom. So if I, let's create a method here. Public void, click tab, and we're going to take in a tab to select. All I'm going to do is say selected tab equals tab, and that should force some displays to show and hide. That should do it, right? Let's see if I copy this onto the next one down and make this I'm worried because that didn't pop up as a thing for me to select when I control spaced. So let's build. I'm building. You can see the little build thing going by here right now. See if we can get that to work. Nando's hot sauces is what you like at the moment. Oh, very cool. Everybody loves tacos. There they go, and we're... All right, yeah, build succeeded. So now let's see what this looks like now that we've tuned up and done a little bit of layout here. So we're using that tabs layout that our friend Shane Boyer suggested. We've used a little bit of Bootstrap here. The Ancient Coder pointed out, and I forget who mentioned with the pills. That's going to work. It should work nicely. And hopefully we'll get that nice navigate back and forth on these. Okay. Well, that didn't work. Yeah, it's actually navigating. I don't want it to navigate. So maybe I just change that to a hash so it doesn't navigate. Right, if I just make this like this so it doesn't actually go anywhere, right? That's kind of cheating, I know, but some rules are meant to be broken, others bent. Still more, yeah, broken, bend, snap off entirely. Let's see here. Yes. All right. Come on. Show me the website. Show me the website. I am logged in. I guess not. Log in again. And then. Love the kappa. Rules were meant to be obeyed. Technology rules, programming rules, application rules, they're meant to be bent or broken. So, okay, first thing I'm noticing, it didn't pick up the active state appropriately on either one of these, right? It didn't assign that. Right, so I'm going to F12 into this. Let's take a quick look-see at... Oh no, that is marked active. That's marked active. I think the nav item is what needed to be marked active, right? No, it was the anchor that gets marked active. I want it to show up as just plain text if it's not. Oh, I guess that's the way it works. All right, fine. And when I click on recurring events, that didn't work. Now wait a sec. I told it to just go to hash, right? Oh, look, it's going to localhost 5737/hash. Oh, because that's the base. Ugh. So how do I ensure it doesn't go anywhere? Right? Right, if I key in the same thing there. Right, I don't want it to actually navigate. Yeah, it's the root route. I don't want it to go the root route. I want it to stay on this page, but let me click on it. Have I considered a button instead of a link? But that's, you know what, that's probably even better at this point. But the navigation elements here, right, are anchors. Yeah. And the buttons we can activate and deactivate. And then we really get that pill type of effect. Well, that worked. It's bleeding over a little bit here, but we're going to fix that in a little bit. Then I can also deactivate these. But I think you're right. We can probably flip over to a button group like this. Button toolbar. I want a vertical one. Yeah, there we go. Right, button group, roll group. Yeah. Let's do this approach. WCAG uses buttons. Yeah, let's do that then. That makes, since we aren't navigating, you're right, Blazor, Mr. Magoo. The Blazor, Mr. Magoo. So let's change up that layout. So instead of a UL here, that was a div? Yeah. So I'm going to change this to a div. I love that it changes both the beginning tag and the end tag. And we'll make it that. And we're going to call this button group to choose availability data entry mode. Right? So you get that aria in there. And the buttons, button type, button class, button secondary. I'm not sure I want button secondary, but let's start here with this. I can get rid of that chalupa and this one. Now I need to command chalupas.
You're amazing. You figured this all out already.
I did, Hans. Don't mess with me, Hans. You mess with me, you're going to get the horns. So what are the various, right? Oh, it's a vertical one. It's button group vertical. Button group. There we go. But, right, what are the various types there? Hey. I think I want them all to be the same, but isn't there a way to mark them as disabled? You know what? Maybe we start them as outlines. Chat room, help me out here. Oh, there's the Dole Whip. Oh my goodness, in the chat room. Ooh, the Bandit Dave, working on a video conferencing app for a freelance client, and you've been trying to build it with .NET Core microservices. They're really good. Yeah, I think you're right, Blazor, Mr. Magoo. If we make them all outlined so that when you mouse over them, you get this cool effect, but the one that you're currently on, we can highlight as primary. So let's have them all this way, right? So that's our class, like this. And when they're filled, they're just button primary. So actually, what I can do is grab that. So if it is selected, right, it's just button primary. Yeah, I think that's cool. I think that's, yeah, I think that's very cool. So let's change this one similarly. Get some spacing in here. Right. Good. So instead of, right, we need to make this type equals button, class equals btn, and then this becomes btn. I didn't end then. Button outline primary. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. Here we go. Let's see. The tabs weren't bad, but I want some sort of active indicator there, you know? And I kind of agree with Blazor, Mr. Magoo. The buttons are a little bit more intention of what it is you're doing. And I'm not then fighting with the actual navigation. So there's single event, and if I choose recurring events, it flips appropriately. Nice. Nice. That works the way I wanted it to.
It's alive!
Okay. A little. So I feel like there's a little bit too much space up here for this. You feeling what I'm feeling, chat room? Like maybe this should just go across to here and we can move this up. I think that makes sense. I'm gonna go back to the grid generator. Can I can I take this one back one? No, I don't want div 6. Get rid of that. And do this. Can I? No. Okay, now all the divs numbers are messed up. But yeah, they're really messed up now. Okay. So div 4 is our header one. That's going to be like this. Right? Go back to site CSS. So our header is this. And right, the one div 5 is where our schedule is. That's going to be this. Those were the two that we changed. So is my schedule this one, right? Let's see how that looks. Sarah might be good to have on stream at some point. There's a couple folks that I want to have on stream. I'm in the middle of scheduling Phil Hack for next week. We're going to do our get started with Git and source control next week. We're going to have Jeff Palermo on to talk about DevOps, hopefully at the end of next week. And we're going to, I'm trying to set up, no promises, I'm trying to set up for another workshop later in August. That's better. I like that up at the top. That feels good to me, right? But I'm still getting a bleed over here, and it's probably because of how I've got this control formatted. The schedule appointment and the calendar. Well, are you referring to here? Yeah, definitely. That's too close. And I think this is because of how I was formatting these. So I think there's another grid that we need to do for these elements inside these components to make this a little bit easier to handle. But that looks a lot better. And I still have to work on the grid area down at the bottom. Did I get rid of these? Yeah, I've only got 4 columns going across, right? 1, 2, wait a sec. Yeah, there's a 0 width in there. How do I get rid of that column? Right? Yeah, this one. Should be able to get rid of that, right? And there's a 0 width roll. Just delete it from the CSS. Let's go here. And let's go to the CSS. Right, if I delete that one and delete that one, it didn't change anything there. But we can just remove them. It looks like it's fine. Right? And we do need to fix the margins here. They're not quite right. So I'm confident in removing those. And I think... I think we need to make each one of these their own grid that we lay out appropriately. She'll be on Learn with Jason, I'm sorry, Langsdorff on Twitter, Jay Langsdorff on Twitter, going over making cool stuff with SVG. The grid areas are numbered like I have 5 columns. Oh my gosh, Frank! Thank you for the raid. How's it going there, Raiders? Thanks so much for joining us. My name is Jeff Fritz, and we're working with a little css-grid and Blazor together today. Yeah, these are set up there, so they're a little bit further, right? So my 5s become 4s, don't they? Oh, wait a sec. Hang on. right? This 0th row here. Right, if I put that back in. Yuck. Right. See, here's where I'm going to start to get confused, and I can't resize these. Right? WebChimp, thank you for the follow. Welcome, Raiders. Hey, Frank, what were you working on today over there on your stream? Let me know. Let's get rid of this one. Excuse me. Oh, now I've done it. Now I've done it. I can't edit this one. No, gonna have to refresh. Okay. This one we don't actually want, and this one we don't actually want. So it was 3 across, 3 down, 2 here. Why wouldn't it let me select that? That's not right. There it goes.
Hey, listen.
Yes. How's it going? Attention on the right side. Change the number of columns and rows. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Silly me. Didn't even know you could do that. But I still, that works. And then this one across the bottom. So now if I do that, right, so this was, right, so now it's 1s all the way, hang on. Right, so I think all of that in the parent is still the same. Yeah, we're good there. And then it's 1 1 2 4, 1 1 1 4 4 5, 2 1 4 2, 2 2 4 4. Yeah, let's do that. And the last one is 4 1 5 5. Right, because we're eliminating an entry on each one of those. Okay. Spicy Condiment says, I had a crack at screen sharing with WebRTC but never finished it. It is very cool. Absolutely. WebRTC is tremendous. S&B asks, what do I think of the GitHub Actions announcement? I'm worried. GitHub Actions full-on competes with Azure DevOps. So very much the message is being confused between these two departments, between these two products. Which one do I use? Competing with yourself as a corporation means that not only does neither win, but now your customers are really confused. So I'm concerned that there isn't a good story for these two tremendous features. They're great. Which one do I use? When do I use GitHub Actions? When do I use Azure DevOps? When do I use Azure DevOps Pipelines? When do I use GitHub Actions CI/CD? It's not clear. When somebody, Frank says that he hears that it'll be very basic. When somebody says that a feature will be basic, they're lying. It's basic at the start, and eventually the customers say, oh, I'd like feature X. Oh, I'd like feature Y. Hey, we need feature Z in order to adapt and use that. And all of a sudden now you've got things like Visual Studio Code that has more plugins and now is effectively an IDE for folks that are working in different programming languages like JavaScript and aren't used to things like IntelliSense. Calvin suggests Azure DevOps isn't going anywhere. I'm not going to comment on where and directions that these products are going. My concern is they're confusing customers. Azure DevOps is on its 4th name in 4 years. So my concern is that you get folks committed to a product and they end up arguing with themselves because they don't want to use Azure DevOps because they want to use Visual Studio Online.
You have no idea what you're dealing with.
No, we're not going to use Visual Studio Online because we're committed to using VSTS.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
So the worst thing that a product designer, a product manager, a marketing team can do is confuse their customers with too many terms, with too many product names, and too much jargon. You need to go to where the customers are. You need to explain to the customers in language and terms that they understand. When you have multiple products that do the exact same thing, but have different names, and you've rebranded for whatever reason, you're confusing your customers. And thank you for the follow. Wow. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but thank you for the follow. So, when your customers are confused, they lose. You don't win a customer. You don't gain anybody. You end up losing customers. That's a problem. Rebranding costs a lot. Changing products, moving them between organizations costs a lot. If you're doing that for a strategic reason to align and be able to enhance the product in the future, terrific. If you're doing that for strictly egotistical reasons because you don't like the person who previously ran the department and the name that they gave to a product, and that happened to me at a previous organization that I worked at. They didn't like the previous vice president who was running the division, so they renamed all the products. You better have a really good reason and direction on that, and a really good budget for it. So, all right. Regardless of which DevOps or GitHub wins, that it's easy to port all my stuff from one to the other. Looks like GitHub Actions can push to a plethora of cloud providers. Does Azure DevOps do that? Sure does, Wadsy. Sure does. Yep. So, okay. Let's, so we need to do a little bit of grid work on now these parts in the middle so we can fix up how those appear. But I think what we're going to do, let me check my schedule here. Need to make sure that I don't screw up my schedule. I can go a little bit longer. Let's see if we can fix these. Michael Jolly's going to go back to front page, Fox Pro, and SourceSafe. Blinking GIFs, marquee tags, absolutely. Let's make that happen. It's amazing when you do that, right? We can make things look just so great because
everything is awesome.
It is. It's awesome. It's so awesome. So we wanted to put labels down the side on these. The margin on this, I think, is okay. Well, wait a sec. Let's go back over to this. On the single event, we are right up against that. Right? Right. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, look at that. We are right up against this in here for the scheduled appointments. So schedule item. Let me see if we can find that in the CSS. I don't think we actually allocated one yet, did we? No. Let's do this. I think this, hey. I think the items in here, we need to make sure we have a nice margin on the right side. Right? And yeah, this first column over here might be a little wider than we need. Right? Can we change that easily over here? Can we do a thing about that? Can we make that first column instead of 1FR? Can we make that like 200 pixels? Right? Can that be a thing? Oh, and I'm gonna have to rebuild to test that, aren't I? Okay. So availability center, right, which is right this. Let's put a margin right on that. right? Or a padding right. Right? See if we can force that to appear better. Hey, Lies Live, good to see you. Could you make the grid gap bigger? I thought we did. Yeah, column gap. We can make the column gaps bigger to help with that. Right, if I click over here, that looks a little bit better here. Right, and your the text boxes look pretty big. We're gonna fix that in just a second here by gridifying. Gridificate. Gridificate, is that the word to use? Okay, we'll gridify. We'll put this into a grid here so that we aren't right up against. There's something funny there where it's bleeding over, but at least it's not on top of that stuff. This one I think looks better, and I think we need to put labels in front of these. Right, a label here and make this the full width. So, chat room, I'm gonna set up another grid for these three, so that we can do those a little bit easier. So let's reset the grid, right? So we're gonna have a name of the appointment. We're only gonna have 2 columns. We're gonna have the name of it going across the top. And each one of these is gonna be like this. Do I really need to do them like that? Yeah, I do have Bootstrap classes on the recurring schedule form controls. Yes. That feels weird to have to do that to make a grid here for these. You know?
Oh my.
I know, right? And
then?
So how do we do this? What's the right way to do this? Right, because I want to have the header span across. And if I look at that, right now I end up with each one of these has a grid location that they're positioned in. Wait a sec. 2 columns, 4 rows. Yeah, okay, those are the rows. And really, I want another row at the bottom for it. Right, if I have that one go across at the bottom. Right, then it's... Right, row 4, column 1. And it ends at column 5. Row 4, it's 1 row wide. Right? Do I have that right? No, it starts on column 1. It ends at row 5, and it ends at column 3. Okay. You'd hand the layout to somebody who does CSS. I kind of agree with you there. If I make this 150, if I make it 150 pixels, now I'm kind of locked into something there. If I make this like 20 EM, right, so that it'll grow in size appropriately, right? I mean, that can be a thing. But I still feel like I'm placing these things in a weird location. Vlad Chris, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. And I look forward to seeing you in the chat room. It feels weird. I mean, all right, let's see what we can do here with this one. It does. It right? So if this is schedule item, right? And if I look at here, so this is pound schedule item, like this. Okay. All right. Oops. Get rid of that. So now I can nest these by doing like that. So, do something like that, maybe. div2 was first label. See, I feel like I can do these as label. I don't need full 2D control of each row, no, but I do want them to be lined up as a grid, right? Which makes this then weird, right? To do something like that, right? That feels bad to me, right? To do. Right, label 2. Is this really what? I don't know. I mean, oh no, that one is here instead of class form control. It's head. And this becomes start time. No, no! Oh, fingers, you're failing me here. Right, and this becomes end time. See, this... Right, and that, I want to do a text... If I do text align center... No. I want to do margin... not margin. No, it's a margin on the button inside of it is what I want. Right, because I want to center it automatically. So top and bottom, let's give it 2 pixels, and on the sides, we'll give it auto. That should work. Right? So now I have this. Put that there. Thank you. Okay. And somewhere I lost that div. So I still need to put the labels in here for these. You would rather tackle regex than CSS. Ugh. I do want the labels left aligned, but I do want them square. I want them square so that the labels line up, right? Right, so if this is start time, right, like that, Diavo, thank you for the host. I appreciate that, and welcome everybody that's watching on Diavo's channel. But let's see here. What do we get? What did we get? Or assembly language. Yeah, thank you for the follow, Antison11? Or is that Antison? Thanks so much for that. Something's not loading right here. Oh, we broke it good. Datetime input does not have a property matching the name class. Oh, no. Okay. So this is where we can actually carry along the attributes and have them appear for our Blazor component. This is a Blazor component issue. This is something... hey, you go away. This is something that was just added in the latest release of Blazor. Where is it? Here. Attribute splatting is what they call it. Come here. Components can now capture and render additional attributes in addition to the component's declared parameters. Additional attributes can be captured in a dictionary and then splatted onto an element as part of the component's rendering using the new @attributes razor directive. This feature is especially valuable when defining a component that produces a markup element that supports a variety of customizations. So, there they are. So this is how they're doing that. So we're gonna add this into our component datetime input. Nope, won't take me there. Where'd it go? Datetime input, right? So we need those extra, right, parameters. So we're capturing all the unmatched values that aren't in other parameters down here. We're going to dump them into this attributes collection. And then we're going to output them using that syntax. And we can do that. Let's drop it right there. And that should work for us now. Feels like having some dynamic properties with css-grid. It's possible. I don't know. Maybe. And I see folks saying this is where Flexbox is good. Do you have an example you can share where Flexbox is good here? Oh my. That's not quite what I wanted. Not quite. Let's go back over here. Because I broke it.
And then?
And then Jeff's going to have to go fix it.
Great Scott!
Are you? Yeah. So add new scheduled item. This did not center itself. Where's that scheduled appointments? This is in this H4 up at the top. Oh. Oh. Yeah. All right, let's do this. Let's wrap this. Div class equals head. Get rid of this one. Right? Class equals form control. Right, I think I still need form control in these. No, that's not it. Let's see if that helps. This is just another reminder as to why I try not to work on user interfaces malfunced. Hey, malfunced. You know, we got to get outside our comfort zone every now and again. Try some different things, and see if we can make it look a little bit better on our own. That's better. So this still isn't centering here, right? Isn't there a trick with? Well, wait a sec. Stop the press. Why does I think it's in 2 columns? Right. Yeah. It's supposed to go all the way across, but it's still not centering itself. Right? Margin 5, auto. Nope. Doesn't like that. Why? What do you mean invalid property? right? I want it to be centered in there, and I don't want to use, I mean, right, the cheesy way to do this that's not exactly encouraged is to say text align center, and it'll get centered. Right? That does work. And I think our width of this first column is... Right? I think we can clean that up a little bit. Right, we set it as 20 EM. Here. Let's see if we can knock that down a little bit and still make it appear nice. I need a def after the 5 in margin. Oh, I thought it defended it. Do I need it to be PX? I thought I could get away without that. That's better. Right, so if I write this, where is it? Here. Yeah, 2px auto. And it's not centering it. No, I don't want to use a variable in there. But the pixels are there, and it's not doing the centering. CSS center horizontally. Right. The correct way to setting its CSS margins to auto. I knew it! I knew it!
Once again, things that could have been brought to my attention yesterday!
I know. Is it a block level? Margin 0. Auto. Right? It's a button. Wait a sec. If it's a button, then it's got to be text aligned. Right. Let's go back over here. There it is. Okay. So that I think, right, will look good and feel right on a mobile device. Right? Oh no! Oh no. Why didn't that wrap? No, this was the auto margin did work. I just needed to make the button a block element. But that's a problem. Right? That's going to be a real problem on a phone. This should, right, fall to the bottom. And this is where my CSS-grid knowledge is going to fall apart. Now we need a media query to define the grid areas. So if we have the top level area for those 4, and we change the grid, this is where I check in and somebody does a PR. All right. Let's clean up our code here and get ready to call it a day here. What do you say? Let's clean up. All right, so I'm going to go to resource management. Let's see here. Let's update. So, migrating the availability page to CSS-grid. Did I do that right? Nope. There we go. Okay. Let's pull the upstream version to make sure that... No. That's it. Okay. Push my changes up there. There we go. And I'm going to go back over to my GitHub. And for this project... Oh, it already was open. Lucky me. I should see the little doodad appear here that says I have a pull request I can run. Or not. No. You're not going to do it for me here, are you? Finally. There we go. I'm going to push dev over, and I've got a bunch of changes to migrate. Fantastic. CSS updates and data entry fixes. All right. Create that pull request, and I will get that merged in. And I'm actually gonna squash and merge. So I end up with only one merge over there. One pull request. There we go. It deleted my branch. I guess I need to fork and pull in the old branch. That feels bad. Let me get the upstream one down here. Cool. And I will push back to my own local copy, so I have that version. Fantastic. All right. I'm feeling really good about this. I've got, we're going to have to do some media queries there to make that stuff work. So, yeah, if folks want to submit a pull request, go for it. You've seen where the project is. It is available right there. You can see it in chat. Let's see what we can raid. Let's see if we can set up a raid and visit here today. Let's see. We just did that raid last time. You know who we need to raid? Oh, yeah. I think this is a perfect opportunity. If you're interested in a little chat, a little talk about what's going on here, let's raid our friends. Yes, Frank, that's exactly what I was going to say. Let's raid our friends Patch and Switch. Patch and Switch are talking about all things operations, technology. Let's set up for that. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us today. This has been a real fun stream together today. I learned a lot about CSS-grid. I feel better about how our user interface is looking, and I think we're getting closer to being ready to ship this and have folks be able to use it on their mobile devices. I hope you come back and join me Sunday. I'll be here streaming live at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, and we'll go through and hopefully we'll have a couple pull requests here. We'll have our layout finished. I'll do some work on getting the data working, and maybe we'll do some user interface work. So managing users, all right? Get ready to say hello to Patch and Switch. Grab that first line of text out of the chat if you're a subscriber. If you're not, that's okay. Grab the second line of text. We're going to go over it. We're going to announce our presence and have a great time with our friends Patch and Switch. All right? Take care, everybody. It was great seeing you today, and I will see you Sunday. Have a good one.